How's everybody doing? So today I've decided that I'm going to do a swap. I had some advice from some people on a few comments about this this type of oil cooler, and I knew about this, but I was just kind of holding back on pulling the trigger on it. I was trying to save a few bucks in the beginning, so I decided to go with this at first. And the more I thought about it, and uh, things just changed. I do want this thing to last as long as it will, as long as it can. So, you know, long story short, and I'm sure anybody that knows anything about these engines knows that this will cause overheating on number three, especially. In fact, I when I first when I first got this dune buggy, a friend of mine, he had a dune buggy, uh, Volkswagen engine as well, and he advised that I gap the the valves when I set the valve gap. He said to gap them a little more than 6 thousandths because of the overheating with number three and the expansion of everything. You would want that extra gap to compensate for the extra heat. Anyway, so with that said, I'm going to pull this cooler off here and install the doghouse style. That involves, well, there's two pieces here, and I was sifting through my pile of gaskets to figure out which ones to use. It looks like to me that these two guys here, pull that apart, these two guys here will go in between. I tried these, but they seemed too thick. There wasn't enough of the stud sticking out to get the washer and nut on there, so these two here made sense. The hole seems to match up fairly well, and with a little bit of oil on there, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then I've got this style already underneath this cooler here, so I'm just going to reuse those for that one there. So with that said, most of this, I'm just going to set the camera up. I'll probably fast forward all of this, just to get it on video, which is my main goal at this point. I'm not really trying to be instructional about all of this. I'm just trying to document everything I do here, and if there's somebody out there watching it and gain a few tips from me, or you know see what I've gone through, see what it's taken me to get it done, or if nothing else, see a step by step by watching the videos. So I'm gonna set this up in the tripod and just start uh, putting things together. Nothing else to say about it. So I want to point out with this, it looks like the way this goes together, looks like you just tighten these fully on down tight so that it's touching here and here. That's different from this one. This one you don't want to tighten all the way. You're kind of relying on the uh, the seals to hold it steady and on there. In one of the books that I have, the Chilton, it shows shims that go underneath it to keep it from being over tightened. Um, I didn't find any shims. I couldn't find anything that would look like that it would work for that purpose. So these washers, I couldn't, I didn't find a shim for it, so I didn't tighten it all the way down snug. There was no stopping point. So what I did is I made sure it was just flush all the way across when I put it on, as opposed to this one, which seems to be a better, like they rethought the whole thing. And what you do is it goes down tight, and it stops on a on a definite stopping point, and it seems as if the seals get squished to where they need to be to do their job. So that's how I did that. Now I'm going to take this one off, which was a lot easier to put on without the cylinders in place, obviously. And in the video that I made installing this, I had to drill out the back part of the stud sticking up through the back. And it's starting to dawn on me that this isn't the original cooler to this motor. One of the main things making me think that right now is the fact that I had to drill out this hole to fit this one on here. It's hard to know the history of these things, what they've gone through, to get to the point where you end up with them. But if you think about it, when you learn along the way what you're doing, you kind of can be a detective about it, because this hole here would definitely fit over this stud, whereas the other cooler, I had to drill out the back part of it right there to make it fit over this stud. And I was confused. I thought this hole was too small. Well, it was too small, but I thought, manufacturer defect, error, I don't know. But as it turns out, this was probably the way this thing was cooled originally when it came from the factory, because that fits right over the stud like it belongs there. So that's a good feeling to know that I'm at least getting this right. I just wanted to add a quick note. As I was editing this video, um, and as I was looking around on the internet at different parts and such, I found out that this AS41 is actually, I'm almost positive, is an aftermarket case. So that would explain a lot as far as why I wasn't able to find the digits for this in any of the books that I have. And probably explains a lot as far as how this oil filter, or the oil cooler, fit. I know it says VW there, and it may be an aftermarket Volkswagen case, but I don't know. I suspect this may be not a factory case. That's my best guess at this point. I may be wrong. Maybe somebody else knows better, but I'm not that well versed on Volkswagen and the history of uh, the full history on them. So anyhow, if anybody knows better than me, you know, just put it in the comments. Let me know. Uh, I'm looking. I would. The more I know, the better I get at this. So um, that's what I got for now. I felt like I needed to insert this into this video in case I didn't want to sound completely ignorant about what I was saying about installing the doghouse cooler. So thanks, and enjoy the rest of the video. Little bit tricky. Not as hard as I thought it would be. In the video when I put that cooler on as well, the one of the studs was covered with paint. I ended up having to take a die and run it down there to get the paint off so I could just get the screw started on it. So that's what made me think this was a defect as well. Cheap manufacturing, I guess. I don't know what year Volkswagen decided to switch over to this cooling system, but they certainly definitely made a lot more improvements, even to just the way that it installs seems to make more sense. And that's it. Not rocket science. Nothing complicated going on there. So I'm going to move on to the I'm going to get the fuel pump in there. All this stuff out. Went in clean, came out clean. Gotta love that. Looks like I'm missing a stud here. Probably swap them both out at this point. I'm gonna use some anti-seize on this. And back it out just a touch. Let it squeeze out. So everything with this fuel pump has been cleaned. I didn't really do much with this. I think what I'm gonna do real quick before I put it in there is clean it up with some, I got some 800 grit down here. This this sandpaper it's all full of oil from And I did the rockers. Yeah, that looks much better. It's got a little chip on it. Don't think it's a problem. It's not on the part up against the motor. That goes in there like that. Been going with the black silicone for pretty much everything on this motor. I know there was there has to be some gaskets somewhere for this, because it's my understanding that the gaskets are part of what you adjust the fuel pressure with, which is kind of foreign to me. I got a nice Indian on here. Don't force it, right? How about a couple shots of oil? She's snug. Definitely a tight fit. Definitely a tight fit. Well, I got it. It's a bigger mallet than I was looking for, but so I've seen guys too pack these with grease. I guess that's the way to go. So maybe I'll find some grease here. I've got marine grease left over from when I was a boat guy. I don't know. There's grease in there. Now, what do you seal it with? I haven't found any paper gaskets. I'm sure should be here somewhere. I've got all these that came with the transmission. I took that apart. Got this bag of goodies. These are all aluminum. Oh, look at this guy. I already put the flywheel on. There's another video that I haven't showed yet because I'm missing the washer, so I didn't want to show the video with the washer missing. But these seem to be off for the intake and exhaust. Nothing for I'm looking for. Got valve cover gaskets, sump gaskets, sump washers. Nothing there. So no paper gasket. So, you know, we'll go with the silicone again. Nice indeed. I don't know how much sealing really needs to be done. I would guess at this part of the engine that you would want some sealant more to keep things out than to worry about it leaking, because that not being the bottom of the engine where most of the oil is, there shouldn't be too much problems with oil coming out at that point. Just snug with that. Put on the oil filler. Again, check my goodies that I have for gaskets. It's kind of confusing. I know I stuck some other paper gaskets in here because these ones are for the oil pump. So those must be all that I stuck in here, because I don't see any gaskets for anything else. So what I need next, all right, and now I know for sure something's missing. See, you wait so long to do this kind of stuff, and you really forget where everything is. So there's my paper gasket for the, assuming, for the fuel pump. And there's some paper gaskets. There's all kinds of paper gaskets for a lot of things. I think these are some gaskets for the cylinders. Here's my gasket. I found this guy too, by the way. All right, some of you might have caught that. I know I didn't catch it until I was thumbing through the book, but I forgot to put the rod in here. Fuel pump rod, I guess, is the technical name for it. Luckily, the silicone hasn't had time to set up yet. Shoot a little oil in there. Shoot a little oil on this guy. Voila. Check the function of it. Does it work? Please let it work. Not a lot of movement. Oh, there it goes down. I don't know how much of that you can see, but, and here it comes back up. So yes, it works. It is functioning. This guy back on. And by the way, as long as I got it apart, I may live to regret this. This came with like 2 different seals. This one goes on the top. Probably wanted to go without that. It's my understanding that no shims means more pressure. I am putting a bigger carburetor on it, so, but I guess at this point taking it off shouldn't be a big deal. Be a matter of scraping it away at this point because I've already got silicone. The silicone is on both halves. Just snug. All right, that's on properly this time. So this is what I've come up with through reading this book here. This part I'm getting ready to install. So it's not clean pedestal. Obviously, you have to put Gasket on it. You have to studs and assembly. It goes on so flat. Each of the 3 thread holes and it faces the other to stay free. Then we on. So fitment 2. Clean pedestal. Okay, so it's already pedestal on. Oil. Go to the right. Tighten for 15 millimeters. Put another stick. Install the filler cap with a new gasket if you bought one. So it doesn't say. Does say you want to put a gasket under it. It doesn't talk. Okay. This is the part I was trying to find. But anyhow, so I'm gonna put some sealant on here, probably the silicone again. I could use the aviation. I suppose it doesn't matter. And what I'll do, see this part I was kind of questioning myself on, but I actually looked at it, and if you look at the top of this, there it looks like a backwards D, at least the way I'm looking at it. And I would assume that this goes down, these fins, and they will only fit in there like the rounded side facing towards the back of the engine. You know, I could flip it over, but that makes absolutely no sense. So it would have to go this way. So that's the part I was questioning myself on. So let me move forward with this. So essentially, I'm going to make a sandwich, gasket sandwich. 23 pieces. Seems like overkill. It really does. And then more aviation. I mean, holy cow. Kind of why I went with the aviation. It's easier to paint this shit on. All right. And I've cleaned the hell out of this. I've sprayed it a million times. It is definitely clean. fits. That aluminum gasket under there, I'm sure that has to be crushed ever so slightly. Give a little bit of snugness. That's on. So I'm getting somewhere. So I guess that's where I'm gonna quit for today. I've got a few things to figure out when it comes to all this tin. Probably watch a few more videos. Pretty sure this bottom piece goes on before the pulley goes on. So that's something I gotta look at. Guess I can drop the dipstick in here, but I can do that at any time. Hell, I can do that when I check the oil for the first time. You know what the hell? So, but I'm making progress, getting somewhere. But keep watching, keep subscribing, and see you in the next video.